Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm going to be reviewing this little drone. I've had it for a few months. This is called the HydraQuad. I picked it up from Best Buy. I only paid, it was $6.50. I had a $5 gift certificate in my account. It only cost me $1.50. So I thought it was well worth the risk at that almost free price. This is a 3-in-1 quad, or what they call these land, air, and sea. You can go across the land, it can fly in the air, and it can supposedly go in the water. So I want to give this a test today. We'll see how it does. Now, this thing, I did take it out last night, and it was late in the evening, and I just did a quick test to see. And this thing is really great on the ground, as you guys will see here in a minute. Even on a textured surface like my driveway, it does well. We're going to take it in the garage where it's slick. It ought to be even better. In the air, it's really lousy. It's very clumsy with this design, as you'll see. It can do flips and like an auto yaw, but it's just so hard to fly this thing in this way, as you'll see in a moment. And then it will go in the water. Now, the battery is very low by the time I test it in the water, so you know, it looked like it just sputtered along. I don't know if it's going to be any better with a fresh battery or not, but it supposedly can do like barrel rolls in the water, and you can take off from the ground or from the water. But you have to make sure you hit like the turbo or boost button or something on the controller. I'll show you the controller. You do need to switch those modes. All the way to the left is your water, middle is your ground, and to the right is your air mode. There's no altitude hold or anything. You got your power button here. This is your flips button on the upper right button. Whenever you want to flip in the air or do the barrel roll in the water. The barrel roll, you have to give it a roll input. And to do the flips, you're going to do up and down in the air. Right and left with this button will do the auto yaw, which again is slow and rather lousy. And then this turbo button is up here. I found that you have to press that before you can take off. It tells you in instructions you have to press that before you can go to, when you go to air mode, and you have to press this to actually take off in the water. But it's same with the land. They don't tell you that. You have to press this before it'll take off from the land as well. All right, let's put it into, we got it in the land mode. Let's plug it in. Let's take it around in the garage. And then we'll take it back in the pool, and we'll do water, and then we'll try to take off from the water. So you have just a 1S LiPo in here. They give you 4 spare props that do come with it in case you'd bust them. These are a ducted fan, so they're protected, so it's not too likely unless you got something stuck in it you'd bust them. And they give you a little USB charger for the JST. So we're just going to plug that in there, and then we're going to turn our controller on. And I think you had auto bind, so you don't have to worry about, well, I'll go ahead and do that. And we are in ground mode, so I think you do have to do the up and down. Let's go ahead and just see if we can get it going. Now, there's no reverse in the land mode here. Let's go ahead and put it into the garage. Just this, I don't know how well it's going to be able to see it in here. But we'll put it down here and let you guys see. I thought it was pretty cool. It was acting a little bit weird today. I was very, very agile and very easy to use this yesterday. But today it is acting a little bit goofy. I don't know why. It could be the little wires in the way or what. So there's, we're in water mode. Excuse me. So let's make sure. I thought we were in land mode, but it's very easy. You can see it doesn't quite match up with the symbols. That's why it wasn't working well. The last thing I tried was water mode. I'm like, man, what's wrong? Land mode was great. Now there we go. Look how agile that is. So make sure if you got it in water mode and you start moving it, just kind of, it doesn't want to do anything, then you actually accidentally have a water mode. It's just hard to see with the little switch. So now look at that. It is very agile. I think the ground mode, this thing is just fantastic. I'd buy this just for the ground. I mean, look at that. And this is a textured surface. Now, obviously, you know, I can try to turn it around here. Oh, what's going on? There we go. I may not have the greatest range. It seemed like I was, couldn't get it to go there for a moment. Oh, now there's a gust of wind came here and it flipped it over. But this thing is really, really good on the ground. Like, surprisingly good. I figured the ground mode might be the worst, and the ground mode is the best for this little thing. I'd pay $1.50 all day long just for this ground mode. But like I say, we'll flip over a little bit there. Now there's no real tricks here. You're just going to do that. If that's the second time where I kind of turned my back or moved and it's sort of like didn't want to respond to the controller. So this may not have the greatest range. This does take, I think it was 3 AAA batteries in there. Now if I wanted to switch to air mode and take off, I'll just show you briefly. We're not going to go to the air mode and flight here for just a moment. You're going to put all the way to the right, then you have to press the turbo button or the boost button, and now I should be able to take off. Well, if it'll cooperate. I didn't do it. Let's try it again. There we go. See, it's a little, look at that. It's going to be difficult to fly this drone in the air today because it's just so clumsy that as soon as you do, it's like a sail because the wind pushes into the body and it's just going to take off. Let's go ahead and switch it to the water mode, and I'll take it into the back here. Let's see how, let's make sure it doesn't try to take off or anything in the air. No. All right, so we're in the water mode. Let's just set it down here and see if it, well, there we go. It started to sink immediately. That is very clumsy. It's going. Let's try going to that barrel roll. So, oh, I did it. It did actually work. Let's try that again. So press it and then give it a roll input. Let's try it again. Yep, and it comes back up. That works surprisingly well because you guys can see, boy, it is just sputtering along. They mentioned this as being something for more indoors, probably because of the issues of the wind, but this thing is way too bulky to fly indoors. I tried to fly it in my basement, and there's just no way. So you need to fly it outdoors on a calm day. But man, that is, and obviously you can't really use this indoors in water mode. I mean, it's way too big for a bathtub. You can put it in there, but it's not gonna be any fun. Let's see if we can switch it to the air mode and take off. Again, this is gonna be difficult in air mode. We're gonna crash a lot because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the flips and yaw in because of the wind. Let's just switch it over to air mode real quick. Press the boost button and give it, it says it'll do it. Let's press the boost button again. I'm skeptical that it's going to actually take off. It says it will. Let's try it again. Well, I'm not having any luck taking off, and I think all the water on it, that's not surprising. Let's move it over here and grab it. Let's just see if it's wanting to take off, because sometimes the boost button, you got to hit it, press it more than once. And let's try it again. There we go. Let's see if it'll even take off from the water if I were to set it in there. Yeah, it's trying to. Oh boy, is that a struggle. It did. But boy, that is really, I would not, look at that. It is really struggling because you just can't get the water. It did it, but yeah, that's, you just want to take off in the air mode on the ground. So if I were in the ground mode here, let's put it in the ground mode. Now if I want to stop, as you guys saw, I can go to air mode. Let's give it the boost, and there it goes. Now it's not too bad when there's not much wind, but boy, look at that. It just, I'm giving it full throttle and it just fell to into the water. It will just dive to the ground at times. I'm trying to cut the throttle. Oh, is it gonna make it out? It's struggling. Let's cut it. And now we get water too. I mean, water won't really hurt the battery too much, but you still do worry. If you have a saltwater pool, you need to be much more concerned. This is not salt water. That's very corrosive to get into the electronics. Let's go ahead and take off again now in air mode. Let's try a flip real quick, if it'll let me. Look, and it just comes back to the ground. I was giving it full throttle and it just comes to the ground. So I mean, this is just really bad in air mode. But I wanted to try to see if I could get a 360 flip, and I was able to do them last night. And of course, as you can imagine, they're very clumsy when it flips. So let's try it again. There it did it. See it? Oh, and then it crashed. It's just, and I put the throttle all the way down, and look, it just kept trying to go. Like, it's this throttle gimbal stick here is very, very sensitive. Like, you just barely tap it, and it's trying to, or just barely move it in the slightest to the right or left, and it tries to give it yaw throttle, and we're not, you know, I'm not trying to do that. Now I don't know, now like I've got, oh! All right guys, let me pause. I gotta go back in the back here and grab it, and I gotta go around because the gate's locked. All right guys, I've recovered it. We could try it here one more time, but we really need to end this video because this thing is awful for flying. Oh, like it's just taking off. I gotta cut the throttle. It's like a sail. It just takes off. So if you've got no wind at all, you know, you'd be able to keep it closer to you. There's a light breeze today, a breeze that I wouldn't be worried about flying most drones, even brush powered ones. But this is just, it's designed, the wind is just pushing it. So there's just no way I can test this out anymore. You guys did see a flip one time. I can tell you in air mode, it's gonna flip, and then just the momentum and the design, it's gonna come to the ground. You might get it to recover right before it hits the ground with throttle all the way up, but pretty much is always going to crash into the ground. And then if you press that right bumper on top and give it a roll or right or left on this right stick, it will slowly start to do this and go into like an auto yaw mode. I believe just hitting the sticks or bumping that button again, I think if you just hit the sticks, it will cancel it. But it's like, if you don't, I think you actually have to hit the button, because last night I couldn't get it to stop doing it. I think I had to actually had to hit the button because I couldn't figure out what it was doing, because the instructions are not clear on that yaw, auto yaw. They call it something goofy, and I thought it was some sort of I thought they were just telling you right and left would do a roll flip, because a lot of drones will do a pitch flip or a roll flip, and this being very long, doing a roll flip would be much easier than a pitch flip, but it only does the pitch, and then the yaw will do that auto yaw. Excuse me, the roll input will actually tell it to go into the auto yaw, which is weird. So you know what guys, this is worth $1.50 for the ground mode. But if you wanted to fly this thing, and really the water was pretty bad, it's not worth it. But if you can get it for $1.50, it's worth it. But do not pay any more than $5 for this thing. If you want to take it around the ground, it's great. Water's bad, but not horrible, but you can't take off in the water. And air is completely useless unless you're able to fly it like in a gymnasium or something where there's plenty of room, but there's no air movement. So again, for $1.50 is fine. For $5 it's probably okay. For more than $5, no. So I can see why this thing was on clearance for $6.50. It's just overall a piece of junk. All right guys, that wraps up the review of the HydraQuad. That's why I do these reviews, to let you guys know if you should spend your money on, even if it's a little bit of money. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. While you're at it, click the bell. That way you're notified every time I upload a new video. As always guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.